So HBO Max came out last month, and it's had sort of a rocky start. Which, to be honest, I was kind of surprised by because I was having a lot of fun with it when I was using it. Before I get into some of the problems that it's been going through, I want to go over some of the things that I do like about it. I do like the variety of content that they have. They have a lot of animation content from Warner Brothers, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Crunchyroll. They have all the Studio Ghibli films except for Grave of the Fireflies. They have a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff, a lot of old cartoons like Popeye and Tom and Jerry and the classic Looney Tunes. And I was surprised to see a lot of variety when it comes to older films. The Turner Classic Movies collection that they have on there has a lot of really good classics on there. Some that I've actually been meaning to watch for a long time. I do like that they have these little collections, similar to how Disney Plus has their collections on the service. However, it's kind of odd because those collections sometimes don't have everything that the service has to offer within that collection, so it is somewhat hard to find everything that they have. So yeah, the things I like, they have a lot of animated content, they have a lot of classic movies, and that's really about it. I think the presentation of the service is pretty plain. It just has a bunch of purple accents and stuff, and that's really it. It's serviceable, it's just really plain. Now I'm going to go into some things that a lot of people have been having issues with. And the biggest one is that it's not available on Roku or Amazon Fire Stick devices. Which is really weird because I could have sworn that HBO Now was on those devices unless it wasn't. Because the way I subscribe to this service is that for HBO Now they had a deal for $11.99 for a year, so that way when it changes over to HBO Max you'd be paying $11.99 rather than the regular $14.99. Which I'll discuss the price in a bit. But yeah, a lot of people were upset by that, because it seemed like they were going to have it ready for all devices, but apparently not those two. I have a Samsung TV and a phone and a console to use the service, but for people who don't have a Samsung TV or don't have a smart TV that has those kinds of apps on it, like a Roku or a Fire Stick is sort of required to use any kind of streaming service. So it's very unfortunate for them who wanted to use the service at launch, but they just couldn't. Another weird thing about the service is that they're already removing some movies that are going to be gone next month, and that's really odd because a lot of it is Warner Brothers properties. Like they're removing some of the DC superhero movies, which is odd, as well as the Lego movie, which is weird, though I sort of understand that one a little bit because now they have like a deal with Universal. It's really complicated. It makes me wonder if this service wasn't completely ready to go in May and they should have held off a few months and just waited until some of these contracts for streaming different movies just expired. I asked on my Twitter and my YouTube community page what people liked and disliked about HBO Max. And I think one person put it the best in that HBO Max feels less like a Warner Brothers Netflix and more like an HBO Plus. And honestly, I think partnering with HBO sort of brought the service down a bit, because HBO does have quality shows and they get movies all the time on their service, but I think it brings down the Warner Brothers aspect of it, because HBO is very proud of what they are. They're proud to be a premium service. And I think that price is the biggest issue, is that it's $14.99, which is more than Disney Plus and is as much as premium Netflix. And a lot of people don't pay for premium Netflix because it costs too much for just, 4K and having 4 people be able to watch it once. I think if the base price was $11.99, it might be a bit easier to swallow. However, right now I don't think people are that impressed with it. It has a good variety of content and a lot of quality content, but I noticed that something else that people were bringing up is that there's not quite a lot of original content at the moment. There's a new Looney Tunes show, which that is pretty good, and there's a Not So Late show with Elmo, and there's a few other things, but nothing like Disney Plus had with The Mandalorian when that came out. There's of course the HBO shows, but a lot of people have already been, watching those. And I'm personally excited for the Adventure Time Distant Lands specials, and that comes out very soon, and Close Enough comes out next month. But I think the launch just hasn't impressed people, and the fact that some movies are going to go away already puts people off. Especially when something like Disney Plus that came out last year, everything that's been added onto that hasn't been removed. It's just, there. And there's still a lot of stuff they can add, which I'm surprised they haven't added yet. There's a lot of Adult Swim shows they don't have yet, a lot of Cartoon Network shows they don't have. There's only like a few Hanna-Barbera shows, but they can add a lot more. And they do have some offerings from Crunchyroll, but only like 10 or so anime? It was very strange that they only have just a few. I guess it's just like a tease of the Crunchyroll service? I don't know. Like I said, I don't think $14.99 is something that people are willing to pay for. $11.99 maybe, but $14.99 I don't think so. Competition with the streaming services are going to get even fiercer with the Universal one coming out called Peacock, and that's going to be supposedly a lot cheaper, even cheaper than Disney Plus. So HBO Max needs to do something to really capture people if they want to sell the service. I'm keeping it just because I love animated content, and Warner Brothers has a huge catalog of that. And of course, I'm very excited for the Distant Land specials for Adventure Time. However, I can understand how people have some grievances with the service. So if you have tried HBO Max, tell me what you think of it, and what do you like and dislike about it. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, by now we're